Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to 6 steps to learn how to circular breathe on the oboe or English horn. Many oboe players think that it's impossible to blow into the oboe and breathe in at the same time. How on earth does that work? What does circular breathing mean, anyways? They may think that they just are incapable of doing it, that it takes some sort of magical person to be able to circular breathe, and that's simply not true. Circular breathing is really simple, and I'm going to walk you through 6 steps for you to teach yourself how to circular breathe. My name is Erin Brophy. I am the principal oboe player of the Saskatoon Symphony and a sessional lecturer at the University of Saskatchewan. The reason I'm doing this live training has a lot to do with how I got started on the oboe. I'm from a remote part of Canada, and it was remote in that there were no other oboe players around when I started playing the instrument. I certainly did not have access to good information in the form of lessons or even someone else who was trying this instrument. I was the only oboe player in my city. And for that reason, well, city, I lived outside of city. I was bussed in anyways. There was no one to help me. I didn't have access to a functioning instrument, and I didn't have access to a functioning reed, and I did not have access to a community. And for that reason, I really struggled. This is before the internet, because now, 25 years later, I feel very grateful. I make my living playing the oboe, and I help many oboe players on their journey of learning the instrument. And I reflect that my experience didn't have to be that frustrating. With access to good information, it can make such a difference in terms of an oboe player's experience of the instrument. So that is why I'm doing these live presentations, because now we have the amazing internet. And so I would like to get good information out there so that you don't have to struggle the way that I did. It's also why I created an online oboe education program called the Oboe Path. The Oboe Path uses a group online masterclass, a personalized, customized plan, and one-on-one feedback to enable an oboist to play with joy and ease. Through the group online masterclass, an oboe player joins a community of like-minded oboists, all looking to improve. This helps with accountability and inspiration to practice. Through the one-on-one feedback, an oboe player knows exactly what they need to do in their practice sessions in order to improve, so they see the results immediately. Through the customized, personalized plan, an oboist can fit practicing and improving on the instrument into their busy lives. It's a wonderful program. So let's get to it. 6 steps to learn how to circular breathe on the oboe or English horn. So the first step is something I like to teach this in steps, because the basic understanding of circular breathing is a little false. You don't breathe in and breathe out at the same time. What you actually do is you tuck a little reservoir of air inside your face. And as you use your muscles to push out the air that's stuck in your face in a little reservoir, you breathe in through your nose. That's it. It's very simple. Now you may think, what do you mean a reservoir? I'm going to show you what I mean. You put this little pocket of air, because of course the oboe doesn't need a lot of air in order to make the sound. It has a very small opening, so it's a great instrument for circular breathing. So what you do is you put a little bit of air in a pocket place, and initially we're going to start with our cheeks as the place, and then I'm going to show you how to evolve from there. So the first step, when I'm trying to demonstrate to a student just how easy circular breathing is, I ask them to make a raspberry, and this is the first step. And what I mean by making a raspberry sound is this. I guess that's a buzz. I mean, I played trombone for about 2 seconds when I was a teenager, so I think that's a buzz and a raspberry sound, and I'm making that sound. And what I ask someone who's learning to circular breathe to do is to simply breathe in while they're making that sound. And this is what it looks like. So I took 2 breaths in through my nose while I was maintaining a buzz here. So let me do that again. So I'm breathing in while I'm pushing out. Now, I'm further down the path of circular breathing, so I can do that, I think, quite readily. What I would suggest is keep trying until that is something that you make that connection of being able to continue the buzz while you breathe in through your nose. If that's something that is proving to be a little challenging, what I would suggest is using some props. So I'm going to put my elbow down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in, and at the same time, I'm going to, rather than using my face muscles, I'm going to fill up my cheeks with air and then push them with my fingers. So it's going to look like this. And what I'm going to do is when I push in with my fingers, I'm going to breathe in through my nose. So let me do that again. So, and working on the coordination of expanding your cheeks and breathing in at the same time. So I am essentially breathing out and in at the same time. It's just not using my lungs. I'm using this reservoir. It's almost like the bladder of a bagpipe is suddenly in your cheeks, and you're just pushing in from, you know how a bagpipe, you have to like, okay, I've never played bagpipes. But what I see them doing is that they are pushing with their arm at a random time before they need the air. So I'm imagining that this is now the bagpipe reservoir. And I'm breathing in at the same time I'm pushing. Now, once you get that coordinated, you're on to the next step. So this is step number 3. And I like to use a straw and a glass of water. The straw, I like it to be small. When I first used this, there used to be all these plastic coffee stir sticks everywhere. They were brown, and they were very thin that you would use to stir coffee. We've now evolved to wood or something that is not going to stick around for a million years. But that is how I started. What I liked about those were the resistance, but this straw will work just as fine. Now, we did this exercise in the oboe path not that long ago, and what we discovered is we want to have a tall glass and a short amount of water, not a short glass with a lot of water. Otherwise, you will end up with a wet lap and, much to the hilarious observation, like a puddle of water beneath you. So tall glass, small amount of water. And what I'm going to invite you to do, now, I'm not, usually I put this on a table, but I'm standing, so that's difficult, and I don't want to change the camera angle. So I'm gonna hold my cheeks with one hand. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow in and try to create bubbles in the water as I push air from here and sniff at the same time. This is what it looks like. So I coordinate that, and you can work on that for a little while. I've had oboe players learn to circular breathe in 3 days, and I've had oboe players learn to circular breathe in 8 months. Everyone eventually is able to do it. So I invite you, it doesn't really matter how fast, it will come when you're ready to receive the ability, I guess. So once you've worked on the straw with the glass, then I would suggest moving to your oboe reed and doing the same exercise. So this is step number 4. So I'm going to push from here at the same time as, what's nice about the oboe reed is that it has a lot more resistance. Now you may say, Erin, but I hear such a fluctuation in the pitch. Yes. That's fine. We're going to take that step. We're going to take it, because what ended up happening is I had a steady stream of air while I was pushing with my fingers. That's what we're looking for right now. Once you're able to do that on the reed, what I would suggest is putting the reed into the oboe. Now we have even more resistance. So it's actually, we're getting easier and easier to circular breathe the more resistance we have. So what I'd like you to do is take in, actually blow out all of your air, and I'm going to use my cheeks. But I won't have because my hands are going to be busy. So I'm going to, I like a half whole D, and I'm going to fill up my cheeks with air and a blow in the oboe as I sniff here. So you'll hear a massive variation in pitch. That's fine. I'm using the resistance to, and I circular breathe much more often than I would normally circular breathe when I'm playing a piece of music, but just to demonstrate physically how it works. Now, once you're able to do that and get that steady stream, and your intonation and pitch is going to be all wobbly all over the place, the next step, the final step, the sixth step, is to work out how not to have your cheeks do this, but to put, and it's a feeling, it's one of those things that I wish I could like unzip and show you what's happening. Like I could unzip in between, like down here, and I could show you what's happening when I'm circular breathing, but I can't. So what I would suggest is there will be a feeling that comes when you don't have to adjust, you don't have to put the reservoir of air here. I'm actually putting the pocket of air. It's a very small pocket of air. I'm using my tongue almost as like a pushing gauge. The tongue is almost pulling back, and then I sniff as I'm using my tongue to push the air. So almost like a pinball machine, you know, when you pull back the pinball and then you release the tongue and the ball goes really quickly. That's what I feel like is happening. My tongue is pushing the air. And I'm no longer using a large reservoir. I'm just pushing the air with my tongue. So this is what it looks like. Now, I just circular breathe many more times than I normally would, and you can hear a variation in pitch. What I find is when I take a little sniff or a circular breathe at a time when I really need it, I don't necessarily hear the wobble. Sometimes, too, I can hide the wobble inside my vibrato so that it's not as obvious. So I'm going to breathe out just so you can hear and you'll notice that I'm not moving at all here. Like there's no huge reservoir of air here. I'm just using my tongue to push the air. So I'm staying relatively at the same pitch. And that's something that I'm continuing to improve in my own playing, is to hide and to be able to do a decrescendo and a crescendo when I'm doing a circular breath. That's my current personal goal. I think that it may make you feel a little bit better and like you're making active progress if you practice doing your circular breathing while you're trilling. That can be of great benefit. Sometimes hiding the circular breath in moving notes is a great way for no one to notice that you're doing it, but giving yourself a little bit of extra oxygen so your brain can think. If you walk through all 6 of these steps and you're having success, that's awesome. What I would suggest then is the next step is to put it into scales. I will do another training about that, about what that looks like. Good luck on your circular breathing journey. I do use circular breathing a good deal on English horn. That helps me get through some of those really long exposed English horn solos. And one of the elements that is important in being able to do that on English horn is having choosing the right reed. And so I've been thinking about that a lot. I've got a lot of English horn playing coming up. And so I'm offering a free live a registered event where I'm going to be talking about how to choose a better English horn reed. Because often we find ourselves in situations, I know I have, where I leave the stage and think, I didn't choose the right reed. And so I've developed this system that helps me feel very confident about the English horn reed that I choose to play all of this beautiful English horn literature. So registration for that event is coming up in 2 weeks. The registration is below this video, and I hope to connect with you there. Let's all become the oboists and English horn players that everyone wants to play with. The English horn players and oboists we are meant to be. Play the oboe / English horn with joy and ease. I'll see you next time.